Hello. In today's video, we're going to be covering the topic of converting an InfoPath form to a Nintex K2 form leveraging the power of the Kudzu platform. So let's start with the InfoPath form that we'll be converting. Here it is right here. It's an employment application. You can see we have a header section. We have a drop-down list that has some states predefined in it. And then we also have some repeating sections down here for education, references, and previous employment. And then we also have an attachment control right here. So what we want to do is we want to run this through the Kudzu platform and automatically convert this to a K2 Smart Form. So let's jump over to Kudzu. And this is the home page of Kudzu. So let's click on this Wizard button right here. This launches this screen. You can see up here we're going to read the source document, which is our InfoPath form. We'll get the results of that read. Then we'll point Kudzu to the K2 environment and publish that out as a K2 Smart Form application. So first we need to choose our source document. So what I'm going to do is flip this over to InfoPath. You can upload a file directly from your file system, or we can point it to a SharePoint form library. So we'll go ahead and do that. I have a SharePoint connection already configured. And there's our InfoPath forms that are on this particular SharePoint site. We support both content type based InfoPath forms as well as forms that were uploaded manually as a template to the library. So let's go ahead and choose the content type. We'll hit select. We'll give this a name for Kudzu called employment application. And then over here on the right are the settings for this InfoPath reader. So if I were to change this to a PDF, if my source document was a PDF, for example, these options would be different. But one of the benefits that this option gives us to select the form directly from SharePoint is we can also import the historical data. So after we've converted it to a K2 Smart Form, if we choose this option now, then later on, once the application is in K2, Kudzu will then go into that form library, grab all of the instances of that form, and push the data or extract the data from those documents and push those into K2. So let's go ahead and click on Next. Now Kudzu is reading the InfoPath form schema, all of the rules. It's processing the information. And this is converting the document to what we call our Kudzu uniform model. And I have the opportunity now to click on this Edit button. This is an optional step. And this will open up the InfoPath form that's been converted to a Kudzu uniform in the uniform editor. So this gives us a couple of benefits. Number one, if I have naming conventions that I'm not happy with that I want to change before we push it to K2, I have the opportunity to change those right now. I can add new controls, I can remove controls, so on and so forth. But we're going to stick with the defaults now, so we'll close this editor. And now we'll click on Next, and let's push this out to K2. So I'll choose K2. I will choose a theme. These are all options that are specific to K2. We'll push this out to a category in K2. Here's our home view settings. This is like our main list that shows all of the instances of the form. And we'll click on Next. And now what Kudzu is doing, leveraging K2 authoring API and publishing API, is it's building all of the artifacts in K2 and ultimately publishing those artifacts out to the designated K2 environment. So you can see Kudzu converted this InfoPath form to a K2 Smart Form in a little over 12 seconds. So let's go ahead and flip over to our K2 environment. Find that form, we put it in put it in demo forms, employment application, and here are all of the artifacts that Kudzu created for us. And if I click on this home page, click Run, there's our home page for all of the instances. We don't have any yet, so we'll click on Add, and then we'll go ahead and fill out some of this information. So this is the InfoPath form now running as a K2 Smart Form that Kudzu automatically created. I'm going to put a little thing in here. We also were able to capture an on-change event, and if we put in Dexter, it automatically flips the state to Michigan. Zip code. We also have built the one-to-many relationships in the K2 Smart Objects to handle all of the multiple rows that you can add within this section, as well as your attachments. So let's go ahead and click on Save, and you see that we've also automatically wired up all of the read, write, update operations on the form. So if we open that up, you can see the information that we previously filled out. So there you go. That's how easy it is to convert a form, an InfoPath form, to K2 leveraging Kudzu.